shearing effect where only one of your boys get hit. So get something that really... So for this video, I'm actually gonna talk about what you should have in your gear bag. There's some stuff you know you should have in there, and there's some stuff you maybe don't know you should have in there. I've got it all fit into a gear bag, which is the first thing you should have is a proper big old gear bag that can hold all the stuff we're about to talk about. Let's talk about the standards. You need, obviously, a pair of boxing gloves. You also obviously need your kickers. I'm gonna make a point here. Have leather kickers. Don't use the cloth ones. They're just not thick enough. You will hurt yourself or your training partner. Have good, proper tie leather kickers and enjoy not having completely smashed shins or ankles. The other standard might be a mouth guard. Gotta dig around a little bit. Your mouth guard. Have your mouth guard in your bag all the time. Don't take it out except to use it. So the other thing you're gonna need is a cup. Now, don't go with the hockey cup. It just kind of hangs in front of your stuff. And then when you get hit, there's this possible shearing effect where only one of your boys get hit. So get something that really cups it. Steel cup all the way. If you've seen the diamond cups, they're great. Note that this one has a strap. It's not the one that ties around your waist and the other one up the backside. Those are fantastic and they fit really well, but if you don't like the idea of that, these strapped ones, they grab everything nicely. Get a proper cup, trust me. So we've got kind of the standards there. You can take care of yourself with these things.
But wait, there's more.
I also think you should have 1 or 2 cloth kickers in your bag. But coach, you just said I shouldn't. Well, what you're gonna use this for is when you've smashed your shins, it will inevitably happen. You'll go to kick someone, they'll do a low check, you'll hit them right at the top of their tibia or in their knee, and then it's like, man, I can't kick for 2 months. Maybe not. If you put this on, and then you put your leathers on top, it's a little bit of a squeeze sometimes for the straps on the back to get all the way around, but you might be able to get yourself back to training. Even when you're hitting pads, when you've got that bone bruise on your shin, you can just wear this when you're hitting pads. It's thin enough, you don't feel like you're all encumbered with something. You can still get that good crack. So yeah, have at least one cloth kicker and save yourself some pain. Knee pads. I know a lot of people don't wear knee pads. I just don't get it. If you go knee on knee, you'll be wishing immediately that you had knee pads. These protect both you and the person you're hitting. So if I knee somebody in the ribs, this will protect a little bit. Knees are hard enough without the knee pads. Just have some knee pads. These are Isami low kick pads. They have ones that aren't this long, but I've actually been using these lately and I really like them. I see people using volleyball knee pads. Get something, man. Oh, I see. Next. Another pair of gloves. These ones are smaller. These are my 16-ounce gloves. These are what I use to spar. These are bag gloves, anywhere from like 10 to 12-ounce gloves. Why I have these is because if I use my sparring gloves for everything I do, I will break down the foam and they just get soaked all the time. They take longer to dry. So what I have is a pair of bag gloves that I use for smashing the bag and for hitting pads. I can put these to the side, and then the foam on my 16s, they stay better for longer, and then I don't have to replace my sparring gloves as often. Last thing you need is some dude hitting you in the face with his soaking wet, stinky gloves where the foam is broken down and you're just feeling knuckles. Just get a pair of bag gloves. Obviously, you acquire this stuff over time because it gets a bit expensive. As time goes on, it'll be worth it. I don't know if I put hand wraps in this bag, but you should have hand wraps. Hand wraps do a few different things. Obviously, they protect your wrist, the bones in your hand, your knuckles, but they have two other effects that I think are great. One, they fill up the glove a bit, so the glove doesn't slide around on your hand, so that actually helps protect your wrist quite a bit too, because if the glove's sliding around, there's more chance of little twists of the wrist. So that's awesome. It'll keep you safe for filling up the glove. The other thing is it soaks up a lot of the sweat. So if your gloves are sopping wet, you put your hands in there the next day and it's just like cold and slimy. If you had worn wraps, that might not have been as disgusting. have your own skipping rope. Gyms often have a bunch of skipping ropes, and I bet you if you've been training for a while, you've experienced going to look for a skipping rope and everybody took the size that you needed. Just have your own. Problem solved. You won't have to be fighting people for the proper size skipping rope. Things like Mary Poppins handbag, isn't it? This is a child's shin pad for soccer. It's got a hard shell. The bone bruise is next level. Even wearing this and those, it still hurts. Put this little guy on the sore spot on your shin, put this on top, maybe even also wear the leather kicker. And this will get you back to training pretty quick, like a lot faster than even just this will. So oddly, pick yourself up a youth soccer shin pad. Don't get the one with the extra bit on the bottom. Just get one like this, just covers the shin itself, then it'll actually fit. What else we got in here? Ooh, bring yourself a little hand towel. As much as your coach is happy for you to use 14 pieces of paper towel that they paid for to wipe a little sweat off your brow or have your after class shower in the bathroom, don't do that, man. Here's some stuff you might not have thought about. So most gyms are happy to provide a little bit of like first aid stuff for you. Sometimes they might run out. Your coach is trying to keep that first aid kit full, but 19 people yesterday got a little cut. Oh, can I have a Band-Aid to cover this up? Have a couple Band-Aids in your bag and spare yourself having to find out you can't cover up your cuts. You want to cover up any sort of open cut. If you don't, the infection risk is really high. Even clean gyms are gross because they're gyms. I also recommend that you have a non-stick pad or gauze, okay? So what this would be for is you've got that open wound and it's too big for you to put a Band-Aid over. So having the non-stick pad will actually cover it up completely, and then you can use Prewrap, which I'll show you next. This stuff is called Prewrap. Now, I guess I'll open this up for you. I'll use my Prewrap just to show you, the viewers, what this stuff does. So it's non-adhesive except to itself. So I've got this non-stick gauze and then I try to use tape and then I end up with tape around my arm and pulling off half my arm hair to cover up that thing. Don't do that to yourself. Take some Prewrap and I'll just do my shin just to show you. Let's see if I can do this. Hey. I've got my gauze pad right on my shin where I have this weird cut, and this stuff sticks to itself. So now you've got something over the pad, and obviously that's not gonna quite do the trick, so you need to pull out the other thing you should have in your bag, a little bit of medical tape. You can cheat and use hockey tape as long as you're not sticking it right to your skin, probably won't be an issue. So this holds the bandage down. This stops the Prewrap from sliding around, so just tape it up, there you go. You can also use this if your wrist's all buggered and you put your wraps on and it's just not quite enough protection for your wrist. You just like throw a little tape, make a little bracelet just over the joint. Another one you might not have thought about is a little tube of Vaseline. I recommend the tube instead of the little container because every time you stick your fingers in the container, maybe you're getting a little bit of germs in there. So the tube, you can give a little squeeze, and what you would use this for is start like applying a bit of Vaseline to your face before sparring. Stop you from getting cut. Even those black eyes you get when the gloves catch your skin and they pull, those break blood vessels, you get those weird little black eyes right here. If you had a little Vaseline on your face, you might not have suffered that. Can help against goose eggs too. When you get a good connection on the forehead, it's just like, again, it pulls the skin. But if there's any sort of angle to the shot, the Vaseline might make it glance off and not do as much damage. The other reason you use Vaseline is you wipe up your leather gear when you're done and you put a thin coating of Vaseline on it. If you look at the care instructions for most leather gloves and kickers, it'll talk about treating the leather after use. So you wipe them up, maybe a little isopropyl mixed with water, get them nice and clean, and then treat the leather with a little bit of that Vaseline, and you might find that your gear lasts considerably longer because the leather isn't breaking down. Another one. You come in with the talons. Everybody accidentally looks down and goes, crap, forgot to cut my toenails or my fingernails. So you're doing clinch and somebody's gouging you in the neck. Have a pair of nail clippers in your bag. Your gym probably has them, but I don't know how everyone else is, but your own would be more sanitary is what I'll say. Finally, you should have good gear. Like for example, these shorts from X Marshall. Look at that. Look at that. That panda design. The quality, legit though, the quality on these is really good. We got contacted by X Marshall. They like the videos. We like their gear. They sent us a couple shorts and I was actually super impressed. At first, I was like, yeah, okay, we'll see it. Man, they came in and I was pretty stoked. Take a minute, pop on the X Marshall website, and we've got a discount code for you to use. Check the description of the video and it'll be there for you. So a couple afterthoughts: bring your water bottle, hair ties, or even a headband. If you've got long hair, have a little package of hair ties and never worry about it getting in your eyes. Like a change of clothes. So just have some dry t-shirt in the bag or something, because that sweaty drive home is disgusting and cold. Another thing, and this is kind of overlooked, is let's say you're going to the gym and you're doing one of those, like, I'm gonna do an hour-and-a-half long class, and then I'm gonna have a little half-hour breather, and then the next class starts, and you realize you've been in the gym for like 4 hours and you have not refueled at all. Obviously, you're not gonna perform as well in your workout. So just have some sort of simple carbohydrate in your bag to kind of refuel your blood sugar a little bit between sessions. As small as a little box of those raisins is good, or like a couple dates. Just something small, snacky, really high in the glycemic index, so it just right through and into your bloodstream and providing you energy.